Hey guys, welcome back. BDCKR here, and we're back with our weekly recap of all things Injustice. This is the week of April 27th, 2023. The current challenge is a 1-week repeat of Rebirth Green Arrow. Required characters are Cyborg, Nightwing, and Killer Frost, who are available as cheaply as Bronze, and Challenge Gold. So unfortunately, this is not the way we like it. Requiring a Challenge Gold character is an unnecessary barrier for the newer players. You have to be lucky enough to have been around the last time there was a Killer Frost challenge, or get her from a challenge pack, or I guess buy out the ladder, which a lot of times is worth it, if only to unlock Rebirth Green Arrow. Rebirth Green Arrow's passive is Trick Arrows. Green Arrow fires a random trick arrow that triggers on impact when he tags in. And when Green Arrow switches for another Rebirth character, he fires a random trap arrow that's triggered by certain enemy actions. If not triggered, trap arrow disappears after 5 seconds. He's got 1300 attack and 1350 health, and he was last available June 30th, 2022. So superficially, he's got really good high stats. Probably the most important and useful thing about him is that his combo ender has 5 hits. So if you're going to take advantage of the best feature that he's got, use gears that have combo ender effects like Superpowered Pill, Razzle Glow Scimitar, Gauntlets of Azrael, and he potentially is hitting above his weight class with basic attacks, but only if you use tap combos. So as a point of comparison, his swipe combo is a normal 12% of his damage. He does 4% each of 3 hits. Nothing special there, but his tap combo is 21% of his damage stat if you get the combo ender. So like regular tap combos, it starts off 2%, 2%, 2%. And instead of just 3%, which would have given you total 9%, you get 3%, 3%, 3%, 3%, and 3% 5 times, an extra 15% instead of an extra 3% at the end if you get the combo ender. And there are 2 parts to his passive: when he tags in, and then when a Rebirth teammate tags in. So when he tags in, he gets one of 3 possible trick arrows. So the poison is the green arrow, explosive knockdown is the red arrow, the only one that will break a stun. So if he's got a stun gear like Cloak of Destiny and he triggers a stun, the red arrow will actually break it and make it useless. Or if somebody actually is stunned for him, if you're trying to play it with, say, Batman or Static, and then you tag him in, red arrow breaks a stun. And the blue arrow is power drain. So when a Rebirth teammate tags in, he gets 1 out of 3 arrows. There's also the same poison green arrow that triggers on blocking. There's the explosive knockdown red arrow that triggers with damage on tag out. So if the opponent tags out, the red arrow does damage. And the power drain is the blue arrow again, and it triggers on an attempt at special, and it takes away the entire cost of the special, and the opponent cannot get it back with Tantu Totem. So if you want to take advantage of this passive, you have to tag in and tag out a lot. So besides the obvious choice of having Rebirth teammates, Hawkgirl Prime is really good for decreasing the time between tag outs if that's what you're trying to do with this team. And I guess the thing is, unfortunately, with the existence of Tantu Totem, the most effective strategy in general is usually having your special specialist mow down the other team with fewer opportunities for tagging in or out. And that brings us up really against his biggest problem. If you're using him as your special specialist, like we are in this footage, trying to make him the most important person on the team, his special 2 sucks. It will not knock out an opponent except on the last hit. This makes him really weak against anybody with revives, and he's super vulnerable against Rebirth Raven, who will steal his power on tagging no matter what, because he's not able to take advantage of the usual strategy. So our usual strategy is you want to be in the middle of your special 2 when Rebirth Raven tags in. Never happens. Every time she tags in, it's because he's finished a special and he gets all his power back, and then she tags in and takes it away from him. A second problem is regular Raven Prime. She's also hard because she's got the health swap that is guaranteed to trigger if you're using Rebirth Green Arrow against her. Since only the last hit of his special 2 can knock out an opponent, she is always reduced to 1 health before his special 2 finishes, which triggers the health swap. And unlike other Special 2 specialists, I mean, I guess I shouldn't say always. Sometimes if your Green Arrow is weak enough, it won't even get there. But unlike other Special 2 specialists, it will only trigger the health swap once. So if you were, say, playing with, like we've done this a bunch of times with New 52 Wonder Woman, where she does a huge amount of damage, she will trigger the health swap, and her next few hits do enough damage that she can trigger the health swap again. So with a character who can, any other character who can knock out with any Special 2 hit, there's at least the chance to trigger both her health swaps. Then she's done with that. Her passive's over. And whoever you're tagging in to save your damage dealer, who's now reduced to very little health, isn't vulnerable to Raven's health swap, but not Rebirth Green Arrow. And the funny thing is, he doesn't seem to count as a Rebirth character for Wally West's passive, if you want to use him on a Rebirth team, but Wally West counts as a Rebirth character for Green Arrow's passive, and you can see that when we tag him in and he triggers one of Green Arrow's arrows. And his trick arrows, when Rebirth Raven tags in, seems to negate any stun effects that she might generate. So that wouldn't normally be a problem, but now that, I mean, we've been using Rebirth Raven, she is hugely effective when you stack both Necron Scythe and Cloak of Destiny on her with a stun. I would almost rather that Rebirth Green Arrow didn't have that passive that affected other team members. So this is 153 weeks in a row of a repeating pattern that first started May 2020, and we have had 3 complete runs of a 43-week cycle, and we are 24 weeks into our 4th cycle. If the pattern holds, no reason to expect it shouldn't. It's been, 3 years, almost 3 years now. Next week is going to be Teen Titans Raven. And we still have 23 challenge characters missing since well before May 2020. This week's multiplayer reward is Totem, which becomes Tantu Totem. Its effects when maxed out are 30% crit chance on specials, 35% of maximum power on tag-in, restore 100% power for special if enemy was knocked out with it, and when evolved, you get 100% power back for specials if enemy takes no damage. Last available September 22nd, 2022. 120 weeks in a row of a consistent pattern. 3 complete cycles of a 31 reward sequence. Nothing is missing. And we are 28 weeks into our 4th cycle. So we're almost done 4 cycles. If the pattern holds, should be Scarecrow's Ventilator Mask. The worst, well, not the worst, one of the worst gears after one of the best gears. And I'm going to say, with Tantu Totem, it is inarguably the single most important piece of gear. Usually it's difficult to say which gears are the most important because it depends on what you want to do with them. But in this case, in the current meta, there's nothing more important than Tantu Totem, so make sure you get it this week. Not only did it shift the game from basic damage to specials, it changed how specials and power were managed. So if you look at all the abilities, so crit chance on the boosted crit chance on all specials, that is great. Most gears only give you crit chance on special 1 or special 2. And the next 3 abilities, though, are what make it really important because that's the power stuff. So when maxed out, you get 1 full bar of power on tag-in. It's not affected by power dampening. It's not affected by anything. As long as you've got 3 bars of power capacity, you get a full bar when you tag in. Anytime you get fast power generation, that's great. So getting full power back if you knock out the opponent, also amazing. And getting full power back if the enemy takes no damage makes it possible to handle Astro Harness really easily without taking any damage. So before Tantu Totem, I mean, we know how good it is now, but to really get a sense of how good it was when it was released, before this, the focus on specials would have been doing the most amount of splash damage. So if you're doing special 2s, because, it took a while to get 2 bars of power, even if there are strategies to get there quickly, for example, with Back Row and Razzle Scimitar, you're just doing it the one time. So when it took so long to get 2 bars of power, it made a lot of sense to give up a bit of damage to the opponent that's in front of you in order to do more splash damage. And you look at it like this kind of math. So with the first character, 15% splash damage from special 2 with, say, the 4th World Godly Mace is as good as a 30% damage boost spread onto the opponents. So, for example, with Ares, when you do a huge amount of special 2 damage, you're boosting the output by 30% with 4th World Godly Mace. 50% splash damage from special 1 with League of Assassins Knives was as good as a 100% damage boost because you're giving 50% on each of the other opponents. So Tantu Totem changed everything by making it a priority to do more damage for the opponent facing you to ensure you get your power back, and then you're going to do another special. That's the best way of managing power because you just get more use out of it. And it has also completely changed the game for all the characters who have a passive triggered by specials. Good example, Bounty Hunter Lobo. His passive used to have almost no discernible impact because it relied on being able to complete a special 2 over and over again. But using Tantu Totem, doing more damage with each special 2, longer lasting damage over time with each special 2, locking in each opponent for a longer duration with more special 2s makes a huge difference. The biggest one is probably New 52 Wonder Woman, who is absolutely top tier on any Justice League team. Her passive lets the power of Tantu Totem be magnified on a Justice League team, where you can have both her teammates come in when it's their time with 3 bars of power each, which makes it really hard to use a non-New 52 Wonder Woman Justice League team, because once you've had the benefit and a taste of all that power, playing without it is not nearly as fun. All right, in the store, Teen Titans Raven, $24.99 Canadian, and that is a corroborating clue to next week's challenge. It does not come with credits, so this particular pack is especially overpriced. You'd expect this kind of pricing to have both the character and the 100,000 credits, but even if you had the credits, it wouldn't be that great a pack, and now it just makes it worse. The other new pack this week is the character bundle Arkham Allies, which is $24.99 Canadian. I think it's been pretty much that price except when it was first released way back in 2020 when it was $26.99. So you get Arkham Knight Batman, Arkham Knight Catwoman, and the gear for Batman is the Dawn of Justice one, which is Batman's hooded cloak, which becomes Batman's cowl, and that is normally the harder one to get. Now, it's not as worth it because we recently had Arkham Knight Catwoman, but Arkham Knight Batman, if you have one copy, it unlocks the chance to get it as a Phantom Zone reward, which we've been able to get actually as one of just for finishing Phantom Zone crystals. So getting your first copy, it's not a bad price to be guaranteed. The other pack I think that has it is the Arkham Asylum pack. And in there, you only have like a 1 in whatever chance of getting it. You're spending as much coin, and yeah, Arkham Knight Batman is probably one of the single best characters to solo, even though teams are really not ever solo. But Injustice 2 Superman and Arkham Knight Batman, I think, are probably 2 of the best characters in the game. And so it also, I think, unlocks your ability to get them in one of the Nth Metal packs. And lingering around for a second week is a Blackest Night Pack 1, which we talked about last week. And yeah, so there's a bunch of other packs that have been for more than a year, so we'll consider that really background noise now. And so Phantom Zone is finished. Fight 62 is still broken. Last weekend's breakthrough for golds was Bane, Killer Frost, and Ares as expected. This coming weekend is probably going to be Sinestro, Green Arrow, and Scorpion. There's a link in the description to a Reddit thread from Devlin16 that goes over the complete breakthrough cycle. And yeah, so this is normally where we talk about glitches. As far as the current glitches go, we go into more detail in these weekly recaps every time something significant changes, which did not happen this week. Although I guess technically, before our last week's recap, the game had been updated so that the Google Play incompatibility with Injustice was fixed. And I talked about that sort of at the tail end thinking, ooh, it looks like it has changed right after I'd committed to saying it hadn't, and it did. And the proof, and it was in the description, but the proof of it was that we were logged in and the Rebirth Green Arrow challenge works, confirmed, using the method that requires the Google Play cloud save. And if you just want to keep up with current glitches, you could wait for each weekly recap, but we also update the video tutorial and the current glitch playlist each time there is any change in the things that were working. And you'll notice that the challenge reset glitch is back in our list of current working glitches. And that's it. So this is the part where we like to give a big thank you to our supporters and patrons on Patreon. That would be Korey Ashcraft, supporting us at the highest tier, Last Word. Alexis M, supporting us on the Your Message Here tier. Michael Devries, Irvin Ruiz, Hoshi 127, and Drew Chapman, who are supporting us on the credited level. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Komoda.